what was the general consensus last night about the future of the world? Did you fix it? Did you sort it out? Did you? Was it an interesting question to explore? Many different ideas? Yeah. Is the translation working? See? Okay, that's good. Right. So there's an idea on the spiritual path that you can sense what's coming in the future. Because ultimately the being that we are is timeless. It's the idea of eternal. So when you raise your consciousness above the awareness of linear time, then the past is the future, the future is the past, all of time is one. So when you learn to meditate, you raise your conscious, your vibration, and you can see, you can sense. I think sometimes it's called intuition. You can intuit what is going to unfold in the future. Do you ever have that sense? You get the sense you know what's going to happen. Do you ever get that? No, it's very clear sense. Very clear sense. Maybe what's going to happen later today or next week or sometimes in your own life. You get a real sense of what's coming. So it's an interesting question to explore. It's good. So is everybody okay after yesterday? Yeah. So yesterday we were exploring the whole territory of well-being, what it means to be well in our being. And we were exploring all the different dis-eases that we suffer from. Physical pain, dis-ease of consciousness, the spiritual dis-ease. And we were looking at the process of awakening the immune system of the soul. 3 steps. Remember the 3 steps? Number 1, awareness of the symptom, feeling. Number 2, realization of the cause of the dis-ease. And then number 3, transformation of the energy of the self, of me, of my being. When the dis-ease has been healed, has been so. Questions? Yesterday evening we explored the session yesterday afternoon. We were exploring the creative process. In other words, purpose for being here on planet Earth is to be creative. Of course, we can't be creative when we are not well. We lose our ability to be creative, to think clearly, to choose our feelings, to generate the right attitude, and therefore behave in the most appropriate way. We lose our alignment with that process when we are unwell, when there is dis-ease. We saw yesterday that all dis-ease has its roots, cause in belief, the virus of belief. And one of the most powerful viruses that we all assimilate from very young is the belief that you can control what you cannot control. And that usually means other people. So that virus makes us upset, angry, irritated, frustrated with other people frequently every day because they are not doing what I want, what I think they should. If you look underneath that belief, the belief that I can't control, the belief that they should do what I say, underneath that belief is just a little deeper one. And the belief beneath that is that other people are responsible for my happiness. Is that true? Is someone else responsible for my happiness? Or am I responsible for my happiness? I think we'll all agree, each one of us is responsible for our own happiness. Agree? That's true? Yes? This means yes. This means no. So, we understand it, we realize it, but then 10 minutes later, driving home, walking down the road, a little comment. Did you see what they did? Did you hear about the government? Did I tell you about my boss yesterday? And we make ourselves unhappy. And we attribute our unhappiness to someone, something, somewhere else. So we get it, yeah, I get the truth, but I fall asleep very quickly. So this is why the spiritual journey is the journey of awakening. I wake up, I get it, now I understand, I fall asleep. Wake up, fall asleep. Wake up, fall asleep. It's like in and out, like breathing. It's okay. So that's why sometimes, certainly in my own journey, I had to come on many retreats, I had to go on many courses, keep reminding myself, keep putting in, realizing the truth, and then practicing, 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 practicing. Excuse me. So that was the essence of last night. And it's only when I'm well, when I'm awake, that I can create the highest quality, best life. It's only when I'm well that I can give the right energy to others. Life is relationship, and the quality of my life depends on the quality of my relationships. So any questions on yesterday? Any questions at all? Anything bothering you, bugging you, not clear? Anything grey? Anything last night, this morning, over breakfast? Yes?
Io penso che malattie si sentono in Israele, sono malattie molto profonde, molto inconsce, sono come diventano pazzi. Le persone in genere non sono coscienti a queste malattie, non sono coscienti a loro comportamenti e vivono in modo pazzo
Volunteer, translator,
Somebody in the front, maybe.
somebody on the front. Did anyone get that? You can't hear them, okay. Anyone around there? Yeah, thank you. Yes. No. You mean physically? Yeah. So that's why okay, I got the question. I got the gist, I think.
My question was,
Help.
you should come back here.
Oh, okay, okay. So this is not a question, not a statement, it's an invitation. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So you can't see the dis-ease, but you don't see it, you feel. It's your feelings, the awareness of what you're feeling at any given moment. And that's the practice, becoming more aware of what you're feeling. Anyone else? No. All clear. Yes.
Io non ho ben chiaro come influenzare l'altro.
I'm not very clear about influencing other people.
About influencing other people.
Un'altra domanda simile. Ieri,
Another question which is similar to that, to yesterday.
The children, the relationship with between the father, mother, and the children.
And the children.
When the difference between the control
Yeah.
and the influence of the children.
Yeah, okay.
se qualcuno vuole buttare fuoco,
Per example, if the baby is in front of the father, how the father.
How do you influence the child?
you can touch the fire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, many people, they see the child in front of the father, in front of the fire, or they see the child running out into the road, and the parent becomes, oh my God, and becomes frightened, and then they shout at the child, don't do that, don't do that, and they pull the child back, and this is them trying to control. It's one way to teach. It's okay. It'll work. But as you're pulling the child away from the fire, away from the road, as you're doing, oh my God, don't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. You should do that. You're teaching the child to be scared and angry. You're actually teaching fear and anger. You're teaching suffering by example. So the enlightened way to teach is not to be scared, not to be angry. I don't let my child put the hand in the fire. I don't let the child run into the road, but coolly, quietly, I explain, body plus car equals pain. If you understand. I teach them to understand the implications of action. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's the energy with which you say it. Yeah. So with the fire example, you could say quite easily that I could say to her, don't put your hand in it, it's very hot, don't do that, and you're going to burn skin. See, that's the burnt skin. Teach it all about burnt skin. But even then, the child will still want to, oh, and you can't stop. That's how we learn, really. That's how we all learn. So, when you are being influential, then you've obviously realized you can't make anyone do anything. And you've obviously realized that what other people do does not define your happiness. In other words, you're independent. You're not dependent on someone. So I have to realize that first. And then I stop trying to control. And then my energy is much more positive towards the person. I'm not needy, I'm not upset, I'm not getting stressed. So I'm giving much more positive energy. And that's of a much greater influence on them. And that's why, who would you prefer to work with? Who would you prefer to do things with? Someone who's getting upset when you're not doing what I want? or someone who's understanding and compassionate. Let's do this together. Here, can I help you? Who's got more influence? So it's like a little bit like that, really. That makes sense. Yes. But I'm getting a funny feeling. How do you see the future of the world? Okay. Can you stay till Tuesday? Someone asked me that question last night, and I'll give you my answer in one word to begin with, and it's entropy. Does everyone understand entropy? Entropy. Entropy is the second law of thermodynamics. It's all energy, remember, it's all energy. And energy moves from order to chaos. Energy moves from order to chaos in a closed system. Unless something comes from outside the system to reverse, regenerate, to make the process happen in the opposite way. Okay? So let me give you a very simple example. Take the ecosystem and the biosystem. The ecosystem and the biosystem has been going through a process of entropy very, very slow. Very slow. In other words, if I take the energy of this chair, it's very ordered, this is order, energy is order, and I set fire to it, it goes into chaos. Heat and light fills the room. If I set fire to all the chairs, heat and light, chaos, the energy from order to chaos. And the temperature in the room will go up. And then the pictures will start flaking, the plants will start dying. So that's in this very closed system. Take the system of the ecosystem of the world, the biosystem. Energy moving from order to chaos, very slowly over hundreds of years. We don't even notice. But then human beings come, and 100 years ago, we start releasing the energy in the physical system very quickly. Very quickly. Now, for hundreds of years, the energy is going from order to chaos, but every day from outside the system comes what? A source of energy to replenish, to refresh. Every day. Called the sunshine. The sun comes up every day from outside the eco and the biosystem, and it refreshes, it renews, it restores the order. But then human beings, we start releasing the energy faster than the sun can put it back. And so the entropy increases. It gets faster and faster. And so inside the closed system, the chaos increases very quickly. The chaos is what we call climate change. We've got chaos now in the eco and the biosystems of our physical closed system called planet Earth. You understand? So far so good? Okay. So, this is entropy in the physical system. Entropy also happens in consciousness. Now, the energy of the physical system, its natural state is an ordered state. Nature, although it's a bit chaotic, it's very ordered. The trees, the plants, the natural world is very ordered, really. And when it's in its natural state, it's beautiful and benign and wonderful. So its natural state is to be in form, an ordered form. But consciousness, the energy of consciousness, is not designed to be contained in an ordered form. The energy of consciousness is designed to radiate, to give of itself. That's the energy of you and me. But right now, we're in chaos in our consciousness because we're doing the opposite. We're trying to limit and to contain ourselves. And we're doing that by becoming attached. So we get attached to something in our consciousness that blocks the radiant energy of my being. So I'm busy with my attachment, I'm busy with my attachment, I'm busy with my attachment. When you have attachments, then when something happens to the attachment, or something threatens what you're attached to, you become emotional. And chaos in consciousness is called emotion. And when you're emotional, you experience heat in your consciousness. Just like the temperature of the world is going up, the chaos of the climate, the temperature of our consciousness goes up and there's chaos. I can't think straight, I can't feel cool. I'm panicky, I'm angry, I'm scared. So there's chaos in our consciousness. We don't know how to be cool, to be at peace, to be open, to be loving. Anyway, you see? Now, you ready? Emotion is both addictive and exhausting. Got that? That's why we go to the movies. Oh my God! Oh, what a great movie! That's fantastic! Isn't that wonderful? And afterwards, I'm exhausted. So we get addicted to the fear. We get addicted to the anger. Oh, I'm so angry at you. It becomes a habit. So we kind of like our emotions, and they're also draining, exhausting us at the same time. So they're like drugs. They're like drugs. And if you go onto any drug, after a while you have to increase the amount of drug. And so it's like we need more of our drugs. And there's people in the world who know this. Otherwise known as Hollywood, Bollywood, Apple, Macintosh, or whatever, Microsoft, or all the technology companies, they know this. And so they build beautiful machines which we use to stimulate our emotions. That's why if you went to a movie 30 years ago, the scenes in the movie were benign compared to today. The violence today is incredible in a movie. 30 years ago, have you ever watched a movie 20, 30, 40 years old? Isn't it quaint? Do people really watch that? Why do people live like that? You have that feeling, don't you? And today it's complete and total violence. And we're almost insensitive. That's because they have to build the shock value of the message to stimulate. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because I'm addicted to the emotion in my consciousness. So, these organizations, they create more stimulating things to feed our addiction, and that requires more energy. It requires more physical energy to stimulate the energy of consciousness. And then, with all the emotional reaction going on, I get exhausted. So I have to go on a nice holiday. And I have to go further. And that requires more energy. So you have the human race, totally addicted to their emotions, don't know how to be peaceful in themselves, don't know how to create their own happiness, totally dependent dependent on stimulation, which requires the energy of this, and then getting exhausted. I won't forget you, getting exhausted, and then I need more energy of this to go and help me relax on my holiday 5,000 miles away, to which I take a plane and a boat and a train. And, do you understand? And now it's not just a few people that's doing that, we're all doing that. I came here, you go anywhere in Europe for £10 return or something like that. And so all requires energy. So we are grabbing the energy of the ecosystem and the biosystem at an incredible rate, creating chaos out there in order to stimulate our own emotions and create more chaos in here. Now, let me ask you a question. Follow the trend. And what's the destination? Follow the trend. Entropy out here, entropy out here. Utter and absolute chaos. It's not difficult to see. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand it. Just notice. Because entropy, from order to chaos. See, and that's why we're here, because it's become a bit too much. I need to look at another way of living, another way of being. Because I'm tired of this, I'm exhausted of this. Stimulation, 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 and then, okay, now give me a bit more. And many of us are realizing that we have within our consciousness another source of power. And that source is called our heart. The energy of the heart of consciousness, in its purest state, is what we call love. Pure love. Not Hollywood love, not romantic love, not physical love, but the energy of our consciousness when it's free and attached to nothing, attached to no one, taking from nothing, taking from no one. It's challenging. Because when there's no attachment, when I'm not attaching, busy with my attachments, I'm just radiating, just giving my energy freely. The more you give your energy freely, the more energy comes. Have you ever noticed? The more you give of yourself freely, the more energized you are. Not by the world, but by your spirituality, your spirit, your soul comes from within. It's like there's a well of spiritual power inside, which is infinite, absolutely infinite. It's just 1 second away. But I don't tap the well because I'm busy with, I want this, I need that, that's mine, you're mine. I'm attached to this, I'm attached to that. All my energy's going to these little attachments. That's why we live very insecure life, because at any minute the world around us can come and take our attachments away. We go, oh, they'll take my job away. Oh my God, they lost their job. I'm sure I'm going to lose my job. Yeah. So we live insecure. So to be secure, what's the most secure energy for a human being? It's love. When you know yourself as love, you feel totally secure in yourself. But no one teaches us how to do that. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still here. Relearning how to be. So it asks the question, if I look in corporeal time in the future, chaos. It's pretty obvious really, I think, to many people now. Chaos is coming. Just watch the news most days and you can see, you can get a sense. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm not being negative, it's not negative, that's just how I see it. I don't see it as bad or as dark or as wrong. The easiest way to understand it is that every year you have 4 seasons in the year. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Now, when the autumn comes and things start falling apart, we go, oh my God, the natural world's falling apart. Isn't this terrible? No, we don't say that. We just say, hey, it's autumn. It's time for things to die. Things have to fall apart. Everything in nature collapses, which really means the energy collapses back into itself. Daffodils are a good example. They're beautiful in the spring and early summer, and then what do? They die naturally. The energy goes from the surface back into the bud, and it stays there. It doesn't die, it just sits there for another season. Okay? But we don't sit in the garden and go, oh my God, the daffodils are dying. Because we know we're watching what's natural, what naturally happens to the journey of energy, all energies. So when the seasons come around, we accept it, we embrace it, we make the best. We don't complain. Well, most people don't complain when the winter comes, because we know it's necessary for renewal. Like yesterday, we're all creators, but to be creative, we have to be prepared to destroy. To create the new, the old has to make way for the new to arise. So as conscious beings, I have to be prepared to destroy the old habits, old impressions, old ideas, old attachments. Am I prepared to let them go? It takes a bit of courage, because I've become dependent on old relationships, old friends. Maybe everything has to go, so that the new can come through again. So I allow the new to come through, as it does every year in nature. It's the same in the nature of our consciousness. That's why you are all looking at me a little bit strangely. Because while you're hearing me, you're calculating the implications of what I'm saying. And the implications are, wait a minute, hold on a second, don't know if I like this. He's taking away my support, he's taking away my grudge, he's taking away my dependency. Maybe, that's the implication. But I can't take it away until you are ready to, until you're ready to let go. Everyone is different in a different way. Some people, oh no, they're screaming, and oh no, hold on. Other people, yeah, okay, well let's just try it. Let's experiment a little bit. What's life going to be like if I just let go a little? You get a little taste of it, a little taste. And gradually you begin to, the world really is full of pain, suffering, chaos. In fact, we live such a comfortable life compared to 70% of the world. Such a harmonious life compared to 70% of the world. It's amazing, really. And yet, it's an illusion of comfort. Physical comfort, yes. Comfort in here? No. So if I don't know if that answers the question. Sorry, short answer. You're okay? Okay, you're okay. No? Emotion, when I use the word emotion, it's not negative, it's not positive. In consciousness, there is no negative and positive. This is a big jump. This is the difference between physical and spiritual again. Body and soul. Remember the two energies. In the physical world, there is duality. Left, right, up, down, hot, cold, here and there. There's duality, polarity. In consciousness, no duality. No positive, negative. There's no such thing as positive thinking. There's just thinking. No right, wrong. No good, bad. But we're so programmed. That's right, that's wrong, that's good, that's bad. Here comes the emotion. That's bad. But in consciousness, no. The energy of consciousness vibrates. It's like a vibration. The vibration is either vibrating according to the trueness of myself, the true vibration. Here it is. Peace, love, joy. That's my nature, my natural vibration. I feel it in that state. So that when the thoughts emerge from that state, the vibration of thought going out into the world is either aligned to my peace, my lovefulness, to the light, or it's out of alignment. What pulls it out of alignment is attachment. Is when I get attached to, there's my car, that's my car, I like my car. I'm thinking my car is here. It's not there, my car, I like my car. So it's like my thoughts are pulled into the car. And then if someone scratches the car, oh, there's a disturbance in here. And so there's the emotion. Oh, I'm so angry. That's emotion. Whereas if my thoughts are not lost in the image of the car, then it's just a car. If you use the car, I'm not attached to the car. I'm detached. So my energy is moving freely, clearly, out and no block, no my car, I love my car. See it? So most of us, we've got lots of little, my house, my family, my friends, my lover, all those little attachments. We lose ourselves in the ideas of these attachments. And when something happens to those attachments, it feels like it's happening to me. Maria, what do you do? Don't touch my car. Here's the emotion. Then when you watch the movie, you live through the character in the movie. And when something happens to their attachments, it's as if it's happening to you. And you create the emotion, the disturbance, and you get addicted to that disturbance. And that becomes an addiction. And then I want to go and see the movie again. And I want the next installment of the movie. I want to talk about the movie. Do you hear what happened to the guy in the movie? With my friends. Wasn't it terrible? And they go, yes, it was terrible. It shouldn't have happened like that. It should have happened like this and not like that. I was very angry. And that happened to the guy in the movie. It's not even real, it's a movie. But we're talking about it. And this is called the cappuccino conversation. And you hear people over coffee talking about the soap opera on television and the characters as if they were real characters. And they're getting upset. This is emotion, this is attachment to the character. And this is to be fast asleep. Then I want to watch again the next night, but I want more. Stimulate me more. It takes energy. It takes the energy of producing it, the energy of watching it, the energy of repeating it. All takes energy. Then you have entropy. See, it's increasing very quickly because 20 years ago, 15% of the population had a computer. Today's, I don't know, 50-55% have a computer and other electrical items in which they plug in to get stimulated. That's excellent. Yeah? So no wonder one country will invade another country just for one thing, energy. Because it's the foundation of everything. Everything is energy, raw energy in the ground. Real wealth is not money. Real wealth is what's in the ground. It's the material in the ground. That's real wealth. Money is a secondary wealth. It's not real. So the people who have what's in the ground, they're the ones who are really wealthy. Especially in a world dependent on energy. So you begin to see what's coming just around the corner. But to see it really clearly and to understand how to manage the energy of yourself, self-management, how to rediscover the pure. It's like they drill for oil, they're drilling for pure, high-quality grade oil. And our job is to drill for pure, high-quality grade energy in our own consciousness. And that energy, when it comes to the surface, it means it's impossible to be in a state of dis-ease. It's impossible to be unwell. It's the energy of the heart. The energy of the heart, you know, we call pure energy. So imagine this whole sheet here is your consciousness. Imagine this is your consciousness radiating upwards out into the world freely. In your consciousness, you have what's called a mind. You know they have cars now, and when you get to the traffic lights and you stop the car, the engine switches off. Yeah? And then as soon as you put your foot down, zoom, it goes. Quite clever, really. And so it's a bit like the energy of your consciousness. In its natural state is still in the quiet. Of course, you're here living and you're engaging with people. And to engage and create means you think. And as soon as you engage, a thought takes form, the thought takes form, so the mind, like that engine, comes up. And it's like the engine. As soon as you think, you create your mind. The mind is like a screen, like a big screen. And on the screen, you can put all kinds of thoughts. As soon as the thought emerges as a vibration of your energy, the screen comes up to receive an idea, an image, a concept, a memory, a vision. That's what the screen is for. So that you can see your own creation. So that you put your creation up on the screen. First there's a thought, there's a memory, I remember, I see. It's like I'm looking with my inner eye at what's in my mind. You know that? Makes sense now? It's very real. So, let me give you an example of how the whole dynamic works. Does anyone smoke here? Does anyone smoke? Any smokers? One or two? Anyone like to stop smoking? I smoked for 14 years, and this is how I learned to stop smoking. This is how I learned. In my mind, I actually bring the world. I bring the world in and I put the world up in my mind. And I see someone smoking and I think, cigarette, that's a good idea. So I have the idea, in other words, I have the thought of smoking in my mind and it becomes a desire. I would like to have a cigarette. And so I take that thought that I've created and I put it in front of what's called my intellect. So the second faculty of my consciousness is intellect. And if the screen is a good metaphor for the mind, then the eye is a good metaphor for the intellect. You've all heard of your third eye. You all know the idea of the third eye? The eye here? And it's with the eye of the intellect, I look at the thought and I evaluate. This is what gives us the capacity to evaluate, to assess, to discern. And what am I discerning? The quality of that thought. Quality. And this is where I make my conscious decisions. So this faculty of consciousness is what makes us different from the birds, the bees, the cats and the trees. They don't have a developed intellect, whereas we do. So I make a decision. Smoking, they're smoking and they're okay, they seem to be enjoying it, so it must be okay, let me try it. So I buy a cigarette, and I smoke the cigarette. And I go into action. Thought, decision, action. And every action I do leaves a memory. Or an impression. An impression in my consciousness. And so it's like a memory, it's like a track. Remember the old records? Plastic grooves and the music and the lyrics were in the track. So in the memory is the image of me smoking and the feeling I have. So there's the image and the feeling of smoking. 10 minutes later you come in and you say something, I get a bit agitated. And I want to, I need to calm down. Wait a minute. There was a feeling of calm when I smoke. So that gives rise to the desire to have another cigarette. So I put that thought to have another cigarette in front of my intellect and I assess it. Shall I smoke or shall I not? Well, I had one before, I'm still alive, must be okay, so I decide to have another cigarette. So I smoke another cigarette. And that invests a little bit more energy in the memory. So the energy here is strong. 10 minutes later up comes another thought, another cigarette. Yes, I like this cigarette smoking, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, it's very calming. So I act, and that's like another. It's like every time, if I cut my leg in the same place, the cut will get deeper and deeper and deeper. So every time I smoke, the energy, wow, powerful energy in this memory track. Until one day, I'm busy, I'm in a hurry, I haven't got time to think, to look, and a thought comes up, and I bypass the intellect, and I go straight from thought to action. And guess what is born? Habit is born. And this is how we create all our habits. Do you have many habits? And so, within your consciousness, there is a matrix of habits. This is the real meaning of the matrix. It's so many habits. And all your habits together create program, otherwise known as personality. Because we've all created different habits on the journey up. And most of our habits now have been created without having gone through the filter of the intellect. That's why we react. What are you doing? What's going on? Oh, what's with this? Oh, what's going on there? Oh, we are reactive instead of consciously responding. So when you respond to someone, you can just hold a second. What's the wise thing to do here? What's the best way to respond to this person? And just that moment, you're engaging your ability to assess the wisdom, the value, the appropriateness of a certain action. You make a choice to act this way and not act that way. And then you're responding. But most of us, we've become a bit sleepy, and the reason is we've let other people make our decisions for us. Who have you let make your decisions for you? Who have you allowed to make your decisions for you? Who have you allowed to do that? Mom and dad? Teachers? The government? Yeah? Your boss maybe? The culture? And we become a bit lazy and we let them tell us how we should be. Fashion? Yeah, big one. Sport? All of those things we allow to influence and put our intellect to sleep. Hollywood? Hollywood? For sure. We don't have to make our own decisions when we're influenced by all these things. So we fall asleep and we just go from thought to action, thought to action, thought to action. And that makes for not a very happy life. Now, would you like to change your habits? Do you ever become impatient? You're doing very well right now, actually, I must admit. No impatience now. But sometimes we get impatient and it becomes a habit. So it's not enough to know what I don't want, I have to know what I do. In other words, destruction and creation. Destruction and creation. I don't want to be impatient. I'd like to be more patient. I'd like to be more patient. Now, where do I create patience? Where? Where do I create it? Where do you create patience? In your mind. Yeah, in the mind. Using my thoughts. And so what do? I have the thought of patience. And that's called visualization. I do that in the mind. And I create the idea, concept, the feeling of patience. And I do that by visualizing. Imagination. Imagining. That's what imagination is. An amazing faculty to imagine what patience is like. Who does this now? Who does this? Oh, amazingly effective. 15 years ago, they wanted adrenaline, they wanted stress. Oh, they liked the stress to reach peak performance. 15 years ago. But today, no stress, please. And they reach peak performance using their minds. Who does this? Athletes, tennis players, golfers, whole teams of sports people. They don't want stress and adrenaline anymore because it burns them out. They sit for long periods, yes, training, yeah, but they sit for long periods visualizing peak performance. And scientifically they've proved that it works. I won't go into the details, but they're and whole teams, whole football teams have psychologists to teach them how to visualize, how to perform, how to act, how to move as they are performing. So this is visualization. Now in our case, we're not sports people, we're going to become brilliant examples of infinite patience in the world. So what do I need? To create anything, I need energy. Just like anything is created is energy. If I want to put more light into this room, I have to put more energy into the light bulb. So I create more light in the room. What kind of energy do I need to create patience? If I stick my finger in the socket, will that give me the energy? I don't think so. If I lie on the beach in the sun, will I get the energy to be patient? I don't think so. Where am I going to get the energy? From the heart of my being. Now what is patience? Patience, when you're patient, you feel very calm. When you're patient, you accept You accept everything and everyone as they are in the moment. When you're patient, you're actually quite contented. You're quite contented in that moment. So there's the ingredients that make up patience. Now where am I going to get calm and acceptance and contentedness? I have high quality inner resource. At the heart of my being, there is love, there is always my peace, and there is always the joy of life itself. And so now, I go to the heart, and I draw on that love, and I turn it into acceptance, because that's what love does. It accepts people as they are. I turn that peace into a state of calm, because calm, peace, same thing. I translate the joy of my heart, which is happiness really, into the deepest happiness, which is to be content in the moment now. And so I'm drawing on the energy of my heart, my natural resource, my nature, and I'm using that energy to create a brand new trait, tendency, habit in my persona. Do you see it? Well, actually, just to complicate it a little bit more, I'm using my intellect to draw the right energy and bring it into my mind. Then I'm assessing, evaluating. It's like a sculptor. When he starts making the sculpture, he's constantly stopping and standing back. How is that looking? Does that look? Yeah, that looks good. Oh, no, I need to do a little bit more there, a bit more there. And so I'm awakening the intellect. First to decide I want patience. That's a good idea, high quality idea. And then to discern the quality of the creation as you are creating it. So I'm awakening my intellect to the process. That's good. Yes? Can you see? Can you see? This is not rocket science. You don't have to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist to understand. When you go home tonight, lie in your bed and just watch. And you'll see thoughts coming. And then you'll notice how you look at the thought. No, I don't like that thought. And you crush it and you throw it away. And you create another thought. That's a good idea. I like that idea. And you give more energy to it. And suddenly you're getting up. And you're acting. That's it. That's really it. Now, the method to come back here is what it's called. We've been practicing it. It's meditation. Now, why do I have to learn to come here? Very simple. I have to learn to come here again, come back to my heart, come back to my nature, because, very simple, it's because, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Here's my mind. Let's do our favorite example. Here's the car sitting outside on the road. I bring the car into my mind, into my consciousness. I put the car up on the screen in my mind. No problem there, because I have to think about the car, petrol, cleaning. I have to make decisions about the car. But the mistake that I make is I leave the center of me and I go into my own mind. Not just that, but I lose my sense of self in the image of the car. Not the car, but in the image of the car. I lose my sense of self in the car. And that's called attachment. That's where attachment happens. That's why we're busy thinking about friends, the job, the neighbors, the objects, the holiday. We're busy in our own minds. So then when someone comes along and they damage the car, it's as if they damage me. And I become, what happens when someone scratches your car? You get angry. So now there's a disturbance arising from my mind called anger. And that's not pleasure, it's pain. It's a form of suffering. I am suffering. Yeah. And who's creating my suffering? It's me. It's not the guy who's damaged the car. It's me, because I've lost myself in the image of the car. So if I don't want the suffering, if I don't want the anger, I have to not be attached, I have to be detached. And detached means zoom. 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 Come out of your mind. Come out of what's on your mind. And come back to live from the heart. That's why when you meet someone who lives from the heart, it's almost impossible for them to be offended. It's almost impossible for them to be upset with whatever you do. You know, when they're living from the heart. You know they have a new white carpet, and you walk in, and you're having coffee, and you know, and the coffee goes over in slow motion, and it's going towards the carpet, and it goes splash. Now most of us would go, oh my God, my carpet! And in that moment, you are a carpet. Whereas the person who's living in the heart, they don't say, they go, it's okay, just a little coffee, no problem. Let's clean the coffee. And they become creative, because there's 5 ways to clean coffee from a carpet. You see? Because they're not getting upset. So they're able to be creative because they're living from the center. They're not in the carpet. In the mind. You see? It's not easy, because what's the deepest habit? The deepest habit is to go here, is to go into our minds and live there. And there's a whole industry out there whose job it is to keep you living in your mind. It's their job. It's called marketing. Marketing and advertising. Their job is to keep you in your mind, not living from your heart. Not free, to keep you trapped, basically. That takes a bit of seeing. Yes. I just did the time. I'll just be a bit of time conscious. It's good. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions? Yes?
I understand the role of the
Visualization? It's imagination. You have an imagination? It's the same. Same thing. So you imagine, you visualize, you create a picture.
I know the meaning, but I don't understand the role into that scheme.
So, it's your creative capacity. You imagine, you create an image of something, you imagine yourself here, and here you are. Imaging, imagination. You understand? When you're painting, you're imagining painting first in here, and then you put it on the canvas. So visualization, you get a picture here, and then you replicate it on the canvas. So you get a picture of how your life will be, you create the image very clearly, and then you start allowing that to come into your decisions and actions and relationships. And you start to create the life you imagine. Get it? But the mistake is, we go into the painting. It's a bit like when you meet an artist, and there's his painting, and you say, I don't like that painting very much. And the artist doesn't like that, because he's identified with the painting. He's not separated himself from the creation. So he's the painter, and there's the painting. He's the creator, and there's the creation. And the secret of being creative is to let go of your creation. Not to lose yourself in it. Not to identify, oh, I created that. That's mine. That's me up there. No. As soon as the artist does that, as soon as the writer does that, they get stuck. They get stuck in their creation. And then the energy stops flowing. That's why writers get writer's block. That's a good writer because they're stuck. Painter can't paint new because they're attached to and stuck in their old creation. So you create, let go, create, let go, create, let go. And that's flowing through life. Creating, letting go, creating, letting go. That's why parents find it very hard to be happy as the child grows up. Create, let go, create, let go. Oh no, my child, my little child, I can't let go. Don't do that. You're my little boy, my little baby. That's why most parents are miserable. Yes, thank you. Create, let go, create, let go. It's the secret of a happy life. Because the energy is designed to flow, not get stuck in one thing, one person, one place. But it's just, we've all been programmed to create, hold on, create, hold on, create, hold on. It's just what we've been told. It's the opposite. So, before we take a break for your deepest attachment, do you have a piece of paper? Piece of paper? No paper? A piece of paper? Later? You want a piece of paper? Yeah.
Questi sono le
Yeah. There you go. That's it. So you just need one, sorry. 2 or 3.
No, è scaricata il puntino rosso. Posso prendere questa per l'altra? L'ho scaricata subito.
Okay, I'd like you to write down the 5 things that you are most attached to in life today. Easy. 5 things that you're most attached to. Things or people or places, food. What are the 5 things you are most attached to in your life today? Chen. Can be anything, anyone, anywhere, anytime, memory. 5 things you're most attached to. Habits of action. Yeah, habits. Yeah, habits of action. It's okay. It could be anything. Memories, habits. objects, people, memories of places. Okay, question 2. After each one, a statement. And the statement begins with, I am attached because, and then finish the statement. I am attached because, and then finish the statement. So you're answering the question, why are you attached to each of those 5 things? I am attached because, each one. You have to be as honest as you can. That's good. And then the third part, the final part. If I wasn't attached, I would feel. Finish the statement. If I wasn't attached, I would feel. Finish the statement. So you're imagining you're not attached. How would you feel? If I wasn't attached, I would feel the right answer, whatever it comes. It's okay. No wrong answer.